A person staring at their laptop, refreshing a bank account page. Someone opening a bill, shoulders slumping. A couple having a tense, quiet conversation at the kitchen table. A person looking at a Zillow listing, then looking away defeated. Someone calculating tips on a receipt, trying to make the math work. That number in your bank account. It's not your first $1,000 you passed out a while ago. This is different. This is $5,000, $10,000, maybe even $20,000 just sitting there. You feel it. That little flutter of safety, of pride. I'm doing it. I'm getting ahead. The stress is finally lifting. But then the car makes a sound that costs $2,800. The dentist says you need a crown. Your property tax bill arrives. Or, more insidiously, you just get used to it. That extra dinner out becomes a habit. You upgrade the TV. You think, I deserve this. And that number, it just hovers. It goes up a little, then down a little. You're working harder than ever, but you feel like you're on a financial treadmill. Running faster, sweating more, but the view never changes. You're not broke, but you're not building anything. You're in the middle. And the middle is the most frustrating place in the world to be because you can see the shore, but you just can't seem to get to it. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about the mechanics of money, the actual gears and levers that move people from anxiety to security and from security to genuine, lasting wealth. If you're someone who brings in a decent income, works your tail off, but can't seem to break through that invisible ceiling to the next level, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if this video gives you that aha moment, that new lens to look at your money, get a thumbs up. It helps more than you know. Look, we've been sold a story. A really compelling, really dangerous story. It goes like this. Work hard. Get a good job. Get promotions. Make more money. Then you'll be successful. Then you'll be wealthy. Here's the thing. That story is half true. It gets you to the starting line. It gets you onto the treadmill. But it never tells you how to get off. Let's talk brutal, concrete math. Because finance without math is just vibes. And vibes don't pay the rent. The median personal income in the U.S. is about $40,000 a year. Let's use that as our baseline. You make $40,000. You are, by the numbers, perfectly average. And you are exhausted. Every dollar is allocated before it even hits your account. But let's say you're doing better. You went to college, you got the degree, you climbed the ladder. You make $75,000 a year. That's solid. That's a number you say with a little pride. You feel like you've made it. Now, let's deconstruct that feeling with a calculator. On a $75,000 salary, federal taxes, roughly $12,000. FICA, Social Security, and Medicare, $5,700. State taxes varies, but let's average $3,000. Health insurance, your portion, $3,000. Retirement, let's say you're smart, doing 6% to get the match, $4,500. Your take-home pay isn't $75,000. It's roughly $47,000. That's your actual fuel for the year. About $3,900 a month. Now life. Rent/mortgage, $1,800 per month. National average for a one-bedroom or modest mortgage equals $21,600 per year. Utilities, phone, internet, $400 per month equals $4,800 per year. Groceries, $500 per month equals $6,000 per year. Car payment, insurance, gas, $700 per month equals $8,400 per year. We're at $3,900 to $3,400 equals $500 left for the month. For everything else, clothing, doctor copays, haircuts, Netflix, a birthday gift for your mom, a date night, saving for a vacation, an emergency fund contribution. You see the trap? You make $75,000 a year, and you have maybe $6,000 of true discretionary income for the year. That's $500 a month. One unexpected $1,500 repair obliterates 3 months of your extra money. You are perpetually 30 days from financial crisis. Your entire economic existence is predicated on the next bi-weekly direct deposit. If it stops, the music stops. Everything stops. And This is where the psychological prison gets built. Because you think the solution is to run faster on the treadmill. I need a raise. I need a side hustle. I need to work overtime. And you get it. You get the $10,000 raise. Amazing. You're now making $85,000. But what happens? Lifestyle creep. The silent, automatic expansion of your standard of living to meet your new income. It's not malicious. It's human. You think, I've earned a nicer car. Your take-home goes up by about $600 a month. The new car payment is $550. You've just given yourself a $50 a month raise while locking yourself into a $550 per month obligation for the next 5 years. You're still on the treadmill. You're just wearing more expensive sneakers. The scenery hasn't changed. This is the core mental shift. You have to stop identifying as a worker whose value is an hourly or annual rate. You must start seeing yourself as an engineer and operator of a machine. Your wealth is not your salary. Your wealth is a machine you build piece by piece that produces money for you. What are the parts of this machine? Income-producing assets. A piece of a business, stocks, index funds. Lending your money, bonds, CDs. Rental real estate, cash-flowing properties. Intellectual property, a book, a course, a patent. A business system that doesn't require your daily labor. The fuel for this machine is your savings, the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The output of this machine is investment returns, dividends, interest, rent, capital gains. Now, every machine has a point of critical mass, a point where its output becomes meaningful, where it changes the system it's a part of. For a rocket, it's escape velocity. For your financial machine, it's this. When a machine's annual output can cover your basic survival costs. Not your lifestyle, not your dreams, your survival. To keep a roof over my head, food on the table, lights on, and a beater car running number. What is that number for the average American? According to the latest Consumer Expenditure Survey from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average annual expenditures for the lowest 40% of earners, people living a very bare-bones existence, is about $30,000. Let's be conservative. Let's add a buffer for inflation, for a little breathing room, for the fact that you don't want to live on rice and beans. Let's round it up to $37,000. That's the rule. The $37,000 rule. When a machine you've built can generate $37,000 in a year, you have reached the single most important, life-altering financial turning point. Henry, that's a down payment on a house in some places. I know. We're not talking about spending $37,000. We're talking about your machine generating it reliably year after year without you trading 1 hour of your life for it. How do we calculate the machine size needed for that? We use a bedrock principle of financial planning, the 4% rule. This comes from a seminal Trinity study, which showed that historically, a diversified portfolio could sustain annual withdrawals of about 4%, adjusted for inflation, over a 30-year period without running out of money. It's a conservative, sustainable withdrawal rate. So, the math is simple. What amount of money, yielding 4% per year, gives you $37,000? Whoa. I hear you. You said $37,000. Now you're saying, I need $1 million. You bait and switched me. No, look closer. I said the output you need to target is $37,000. The engine required to produce that output is $925,000. But here's the beautiful, life-changing secret. You don't have to save $925,000 from your paycheck. You have to build a machine that grows to $925,000. And the growth doesn't come primarily from you. It comes from the machine itself, from compound interest. This is the oxygen in the room that most people ignore. You're 35. You have $0 saved. You're terrified. You start building your machine. You manage to save and invest $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year. A huge effort, but doable on a decent income with a tight budget. You invest it in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, averaging a conservative 7% annual return. Remember, historical average is closer to 10%. How long to hit $925,000? About 21 years. You're 56. Not early retirement, but at 56, your survival is covered by assets. You have just changed the entire second half of your life. You're 30. You've been frugal and have a starter machine of $50,000 already. You now add that same $1,500 per month, $18,000 per year. How long to $925,000? Just under 18 years. You're 48, that you're 30 with $50,000. You get aggressive. You increase your income through skills, you side hustle, you live on one salary in a dual income home. You invest $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year. How long to $925,000? About 13 years. You're 43. The goal isn't to save $1 million. The goal is to build a system that, through consistent fueling and the relentless power of compounding, becomes $1 million system. Your job isn't to be the whole engine. Your job is to be the starter motor. Get turning over, and the main engine will take over. The math is necessary, but the math is just the map. The psychology is the terrain. And when you hit that $37,000 output, when your machine hits base camp, the psychological shifts are so profound they alter your personality. Your deepest financial fear isn't poverty. It's the free fall. The what if I get laid off tomorrow? The what if I get sick and can't work? That fear lives in the back of your brain, dimming your happiness, making you risk-averse, keeping you in jobs you hate. When your machine covers survival, the free fall ends. You hit a financial trampoline. You lose your job. You have 12, 18, 24 months where your basic needs are met. You can retrain. You can search for the right job, not the desperate job. You can take a calculated risk. That fear doesn't just lessen, it evaporates. The mental energy that was consumed by that fear is suddenly freed up. That's priceless. Go back to our $75,000 salary example. Their life was a house of cards built on the next paycheck. Now flip it. Imagine first getting your $37,000 from your machine. It hits your account in monthly installments of about $3,083. That covers your stripped-down survival budget. Now, you go to your $75,000 job. Every single dollar you earn from that job is on top of survival. After taxes, you still take home $47,000. But you don't need it to live. Suddenly, you have $47,000 of annual discretionary power. You can supercharge your machine, getting to the next goal, maybe $50,000 output, then $75,000 exponentially faster. Dramatically upgrade your lifestyle without risk. Take a lower-paying, more meaningful, less stressful job. Your labor is no longer about survival. It's about choice, acceleration, and joy. You are now working for upside, not to avoid downside. The mindset flips from scarcity to optionality. On the treadmill, you think in terms of scarcity. I can't afford that. I have to cut this. I need to sacrifice. Your brain is in a defensive, contracted state. At base camp, your brain switches to optionality. What can I do with this extra? What opportunities can I explore? How can I grow this further? You think like an investor, not a survivor. You see doors where you once saw walls. This abundance mindset spills over into your career, your relationships, your health. You become more creative, more generous, more bold. This is the real wealth. Not the number in the account, but the psychological freedom it buys. The $37,000 rule isn't about quitting work. It's about changing why you work. Theory is great. Let's get tactical. This is your blueprint. You don't build a skyscraper all at once. You build it in stages. Step 0. Find your number. Is your survival $37,000? Maybe in a low-cost rural area, it's $28,000. Maybe in a high-cost coastal city with a family, it's $55,000. You must do this work. Get your last 3 months of bank/credit card statements. Categorize every single expense as either survival or lifestyle. Survival equals shelter, utilities, basic groceries, basic transportation, minimum debt payments, essential insurance. Tally the survival expenses for 3 months, average it, multiply by 12. That's your personal base camp number. Let's say it's $45,000. Your machine target equals $45,000 slash 0.04 equals $1,125,000. Now you have a real, personal, non-negotiable target. The vibe. This is the grind. It's the hardest phase because you're doing all the work and the machine is too small to help. Every dollar feels precious. You're laying the foundation in the mud. The tactics. Debt annihilation. Any high-interest debt, credit cards, personal loans, is a hole in your fuel tank. Paying it off is your highest return investment. Attack it with everything you have. The savings muscle. Automate everything. Set up direct deposit to send money to your investment accounts before you see it. Pay yourself first is not a cliche here, it's the law. The investment vehicle. Keep it stupid simple. Your 401k up to the full employer match, it's free money. Then, max out a Roth IRA, $6,500 per year. Then, back to the 401k. Invest in low-cost, broad market index funds, e.g. VTI, VO, FXAX. Do not try to pick stocks. Do not try to time the market. Your job here is consistency. The focus, savings rate. This is your most powerful lever. Can you go from saving 10% to 15%? That's a 50% increase in your fuel. This might mean roommates, a cheaper car, cooking at home. It's temporary pain for permanent gain. The autopilot approach, $500,000 target. The vibe, confidence. The finish line is visible. The machine is loud. Its dollar-based returns are so significant they can materially change your annual circumstances. The math magic. At $750,000, a 5% return is $37,500. You're essentially at your target output from a lower-than-average return. This is the coast point. If you stopped adding fuel, the machine's own growth would likely still get you to your target before traditional retirement age. The tactics. Risk to risking. Your allocation might start to shift slightly from pure growth 100% stocks to a more balanced portfolio, 80/20ths, 70/30ths stocks/bonds, to smooth out volatility as you get closer to needing the output. The goal is to protect the kingdom you've built. Income stream planning. You start to think about how you'll take the $37,000 out. Will it be from dividends and interest? From selling shares? A combination? You might start building a 1 to 2 year cash buffer to avoid selling assets in a down market. The what's next vision. What does life after base camp look like? Will you keep working full-time and let the machine compound to $2 million? Will you downshift your career? Will you start a passion business? The planning becomes exciting, not fearful. This will take 15 to 20 years. I want financial freedom now, not when I'm old. Look, the time's going to pass anyway. In 20 years, you'll be 20 years older. That is unavoidable. The only question is, where will you be financially in 20 years? Will you be 20 years older, still on the paycheck-to-paycheck treadmill, more tired, more cynical, and even further behind? Or will you be 20 years older, sitting at base camp with your survival secure by assets, looking at the next summit with total freedom and choice? The process isn't a delay to your life. It becomes your empowered life. The discipline, the learning, the incremental wins, they build a better you along the way. The market could crash. I could lose it all. It will crash. Not could. Will. Multiple times over your journey. 2000, 2008, 2020, 2022, they will happen again. But here's the historical truth. The market is a roller coaster that only goes up over the long run. Every single crash has been followed by a recovery to new highs. Volatility is the admission ticket to the incredible returns of equity ownership. Your strategy is your armor. Dollar cost averaging, investing consistently every month, means you buy more shares when prices are low. A crash is a sale for the long-term builder. You don't judge the health of a machine by checking the oil every 5 minutes. You trust the engineering and run it for 100,000 miles. I have student loans/card debt/credit card debt. I can't start. This is the most important thing I'll say. Paying off high-interest debt is building your machine. It's building a negative debt machine that's working against you. Earning a 7% return in the market while paying 20% interest on a credit card is like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain wide open. The math is clear, guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free return. If you have a 19% APR credit card, paying off a $1,000 balance is a guaranteed 19% return on that $1,000 this year. You will not find that anywhere else. Your first capital must be deployed to destroy your high-interest debt. Then you build. What if I need the money for a house/kids/emergency? You will. That's why your machine has different parts. This is why we talk about asset allocation in separate buckets. Your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, is in cash, high-yield savings account. It is not part of your long-term machine. It's the shock absorber. Your house down payment fund for the next 3 to 5 years should be in conservative, non-volatile places like a money market fund or short-term treasuries. It is not in the stock market machine. Your long-term wealth machine for 10-plus years out is in growth assets like stocks. You don't have one pile of money. You have a financial ecosystem with different tools for different jobs. Beyond a rule, what lies past base camp? Hitting your $37,000 output. Reaching base camp is not the end. It's the beginning of the real game. It's where you get your first full tank of oxygen. So what's next? The goals become clearer and more exciting. The full lifestyle match. Your machine output matches your current full lifestyle spending. Let's say you spend $70,000 a year living your normal life. Machine target equals $70,000/0.04 equals $1.75 million. This is traditional financial independence. Your work is 100% optional. You work if you love it, generational security. Your machine grows so large that its output can support your children's education, help them with a first home, and create a legacy that lasts beyond you. This isn't about spoiling them. It's about giving them the same base camp head start you never had. Philanthropic capital. Your machine's output is so significant you can direct a portion of it to causes you care about, creating lasting impact. You become a source of capital for good. The point is, $37,000 is the keystone. It's the arch that holds the bridge up. Once it's in place, building the rest of the bridge is still hard work, but it's no longer terrifying. The ground is stable beneath you. Conclusion. Your first move. Let's bring this home. Today. Right now. The gap between you and base camp isn't a canyon. It's a series of steps. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. Your assignment, if you choose to accept it. Calculate your base camp number. This week, use your real bank statements. Get your real, ugly, beautiful number. Calculate your machine target. Your number/0.04. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Audit your fuel line. What is your current monthly savings/investing rate? Can you increase it by 1% this month? Just 1%. That's the first turn of the starter motor. Open or fund one account. If you don't have a Roth IRA, open one at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab today. If you have one, log in and set up a $50 automatic weekly transfer. Make the system work without your willpower. Stop focusing on the distant, foggy summit of being rich. Focus on the next ridge, $37,000 of output. Celebrate when your machine's monthly dividends pay your electric bill, then your grocery bill, then your car insurance. Track the output, not just the balance. You're not just saving money. You are assembling a personal army of dollar soldiers. You're sending them out into the world every day with one mission, to capture more dollar soldiers and bring them back to your camp. And when that army is big enough to defend your homestead without you lifting a sword, you have won the only financial war that matters, the war for your time and your peace of mind. The $37,000 rule. That's the line. That's the real turning point. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey to $1 million machine begins with a single dollar invested consistently. My name is Henry. Thanks for watching. Now go feed your machine.